over the phone by Dr. Yomn Hamaky, an economic expert who's going to shed more light on this subject and tell us a bit more about the importance and significance of the private sector in developing Egypt, as well as the projects in Upper Egypt. Good afternoon to you, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, good.
Thank you
Good
so
evening.
much for joining us. Thank you. Can you tell us a bit about the importance of developing Upper Egypt and the significance of having these development projects and creating industries there?
Actually, according to our studies as economists, Upper Egypt has been always from long time a geographic area that is full of resources, unfortunately, that are not exploited efficiently for the benefit of the people living there. And from here it comes that rates of poverty and unemployment are very high in Upper Egypt. So from here it comes the importance of trying to develop Upper Egypt by, first of all, enhancing infrastructure, electricity and transportation. And this is quite a very important step towards, opening opportunities for investment. Nowadays, you can find multinationals looking for opportunities in Upper Egypt, and Upper Egypt is full of opportunities regarding, resources existing there. So, what's happening today is the inauguration of several projects, including transportation, including, clusters, industrial clusters to be opened for small enterprises and for youth to open their projects, as well as, trying, as the President has mentioned regarding, attracting the informal sector towards having places to be hired for their project without need to prove that by, licenses. We used to have licenses as a very important step towards having loans and facilities. So nowadays, when the President mentioning that we are going to open opportunities for informal sector to come and to start their own business without asking them for, registration and so on. So this is a new trend towards addressing the informal sector. I believe this is quite important for informal sector, and it's going to attract and encourage a lot of informal sector that actually they are in fear of, having the burden or suffering from the burdens of the government regarding processes and procedures that they have to go through, and they are quite costly for them. So this is a new step towards enhancing the private sector, and this is a very important goal that nowadays the Prime Minister, our President, are focusing on it.
Yes, like you were saying, the point is to create jobs, and thousands of them in Upper Egypt. But are these jobs going to be of quality, and will the laborers and the workers that are going to be taking part in these mega projects be given the necessary skills or training sets as well in the future?
Yes, this is quite important, because all these projects they are going to be in need for skilled workers. And I believe that when you look to the labor force in Upper Egypt, we can find that they are suffering from, the majority of them are graduates from technical schools. They didn't have enough good education in order to create skillful labor. So from here it comes the importance of trying to upgrade the skills by using training centers existing everywhere in Upper Egypt. And nowadays the Minister of Manpower trying to upgrade these labor centers by by trying to find, to include the new technologies so that to improve the quality of training.
Yes.
I believe this should be on top priority for policymakers in Egypt to take care of upgrading the skills so that they can find opportunities of job, and by that we can improve the quality of life for people.
And is the development of Upper Egypt in line with the development goals for Egypt for 2030?
Yes, this is quite important. Why? Because for 2030, the Egyptian vision of 2030 concentrating on sustainable development, taking into consideration the 3 dimensions of sustainable development. I believe Upper Egypt nowadays is having Bemban as the most important
Yes.
power station of solar energy. As well as other projects, of recycling and so on. So I believe that all these projects are integrated towards achieving sustainable development.
And what about what the president spoke about, whereby that the state wants to include the private sector within the development process of Egypt in general? How important is it to include the private sector in this mission or this goal?
First of all, we have, besides the infrastructure, nowadays the government paves the way for the private sector by huge investment in infrastructure. But this is not enough. We have to complete that by having enabling environment for investment, and several steps have been taken actually to achieve that. And I believe that by referring to Doing Business Index, Egypt has, done better than a year before regarding doing business and the competitiveness index. Still, we are addressing some challenges that government should address such challenges properly so that to open the door for foreign direct investment as well as Egyptian investment.
And the state's focus isn't just on developing industry and developing or creating job opportunities. They're also looking into improving the lives of Egyptians living in Upper Egypt. How do you see the projects that are taking place right now to upgrade and improve these villages within Upper Egypt and create better housing and living conditions for people there?
Yes, we have nowadays a diversification of the projects which are quite important. You can have projects regarding within, the goal of the reclamation of more than 2 million faddans, and we have other regarding the diversification of the industrial sector as well as transportation and the service sector, as well as tourism and real estate. So nowadays Egypt is opening opportunities for large spectrum of economic activities that can offer very profitable opportunities of investment. So I believe Upper Egypt, from my point of view, is going to attract population from all over Egypt towards Upper Egypt.
So since we're talking about attracting, people coming in locally from Upper Egypt, from the north to Upper Egypt, do you think that also these projects or the developments happening in Upper Egypt could attract investments not just by local investors but also foreign investments?
Yes, nowadays we have multinationals in electronics and different activities are existing there and doing quite well. And nowadays these multinationals are participating in a significant percentage of exportation for Egypt. So I believe this is a very good model that investment in Upper Egypt is profitable and can do well. So I believe by these models, inshallah, we are going to attract more and more investment.
Okay, Dr. Yomn Hamaky, an economic expert, thank you so much for joining us and shedding light on this subject. And next, we're going